Ashley said, "The truth of the matter is, everyone in the house was extremely uncomfortable with the dynamic, but I'm just gonna leave it there out of respect. But this is also why I will never hate Ashley. Because Ashley does stand on business." So this screenshot of an alleged text of Morgan's got around on social media over the past couple of weeks, with Morgan saying in the screenshot, "Fuck my cast, for real." So was Morgan, who never talks shit about her cast allegedly, privately talking shit about her cast? Now, I don't like to trust screenshots, so I tried my best to uncover if it was real or not. Some of Twitter were saying they were sure it was fake, but others led me to Morgan's very own Discord for her Twitch, which is where the screenshot originated. If it came from her own Discord, then that does mean it was an inside job. My speculation, and it is just speculation and not complete fact, because I will only call something a fact if I know it to be completely true. But speculation is it was posted by one of her biggest friends on her Discord. So if it originated from her own Discord, it gives the screenshot some credence. Plus, at one point, Ashley got on Twitter accusing a separate friend of being the one to post that screenshot, which leads me to believe that Ashley also thinks it's real. But the question is, why am I bringing up Morgan's friends? Well, this wasn't the first time one of her friends has been talked about. Another peculiar incident happened with Leah from Big Brother 26, who had hung out with Morgan soon after the finale in Los Angeles as one of the only people from the show that lives in Los Angeles, where they ended up going to In-N-Out Burger. And Leah seemed to have an off run-in with one of Morgan's friends too.
When that person's friend came in the picture, or when did it crash and burn?
I have no idea what that was about. Like, that was like a strange, some people, I don't know what that was about, because the person whose friend it was, like, is a sweetheart, like, nothing there, that was fine. But, like, it was the friend that I was just a little thrown off, by, and I was like, I don't know about this.
So all of this to say that Messy Queen Ashley found some Twitter threads from another one of Morgan's other friends. The account always was trying to push Ashley down to build Morgan and Morgan's game up. And these posts were happening during the season, but continued up to a couple of days after the finale. So up to about less than 3 weeks ago. One of the posts was Ashley answering a question about Morgan and Vince on a morning show right after winning the game.
You mentioned Morgan and Vince. They had, I don't know if we would call it a showmance. They had a closeness. You were close with Morgan. Did you ever say to her, like, hey, he's got a girlfriend outside the house. This might not look good on TV?
Yes.
And she said,
because Morgan is my girl. She was truly one of my best friends in the house. I told her about the long hugs and the back rubs. I told her about them all. And she, she felt like true to herself. She wasn't doing anything wrong.
In the answer, Ashley said that Morgan is her girl, while Morgan's Twitch friend on Twitter did not agree and said, "I don't know. I feel like someone sticking beside her wouldn't keep entertaining questions aimed solely at Morgan. I want Morg to be free of this." Well, first of all, Morgan played into it with Vince for weeks on the feeds. That's the reason she can't be free from the whole Vince and Morgan talk that goes on so often around here, around on social media. But also, Ashley never being one to back down when she has something to say, responded to this with a skeleton emoji at first, basically implying I'm dead. Later commenting that she is trying to keep her mouth shut, but this girl, Morgan's Twitch friend, had various posts about Ashley, and in response to the interview question posted on Twitter, Ashley said, "The truth of the matter is, everyone in the house was extremely uncomfortable with the dynamic, but I'm just gonna leave it there out of respect." And we all know this to be true. They all sat up and talked about Morgan and Vince's dynamic, especially over the last month of the Big Brother 27 season. Every other player talked about it, how close Morgan and Vince were becoming, all of the hugging, Mickey at one point mocking Morgan with the my man, my man, my man stuff. So then, of course, after Ashley posts this, Morgan stans go into overdrive to be mad at Ashley for speaking about Morgan and Vince again. And yes, Ashley was definitely being messy. But this is also why I will never hate Ashley. Because Ashley does stand on business. I don't care if these posts were from 3 weeks ago. Ashley is not afraid to say, "and what?" to people head on. And it's why I liked her on feeds in the first place. Ashley's not afraid to say what she has to say. And if someone is shit talking her, she's not afraid to confront said person. Not a lot of people these days actually stand on business anymore. And they should, because we're getting to a point where in this country, I don't even think this country knows what standing on business is anymore. Over the summer on Love Island, after weeks and weeks of Taylor stringing Landry along, and until the point where he was finally forced to choose another girl over her. And yet when that finally happened, people were talking about him standing on business. And that's like absurd when he wasn't standing on business for weeks and weeks and weeks. So someday people are going to learn that Ashley is okay with the smoke because she will return it, and most people will eventually back down or play off their prior comments. So Ashley, feuding a bit with one of Morgan's friends over the weekend. It's not surprising because some of Morgan's friends seem like they rub people the wrong way. We have the incident with Leah. We now have a screenshot coming from Morgan's Discord. It's all very bad. As for Morgan, though, I have loved some of the trolling she's been doing. She's, Vince, Morgan, Ashley, the best trolls of the season, for sure. That interview with Vince, well, not an interview, the video that Vince posted yesterday with the backdrop of curtains where he's finally talking about his game, about him getting too close to someone in the house, implying Morgan, talking about his relationship with Kelsey. The internet was speculating that he recorded that in Morgan's room, because in one of Morgan's Twitch streams for TwitchCon, we see the backdrop of curtains in her background, and people were trying to compare the two. I don't know if there's different lighting in the pictures, so they could be the same curtains, but I don't personally think that they were the same curtains. And then Morgan, though, always playing into what the internet is saying, decided to post a picture of curtains in one of her Instagram stories. So all these people like to be talked about. Morgan will complain that people are always talking about her, even though she doesn't talk about anyone, even though there is a text from her that is allegedly saying, fuck her cast. But then she will post this on Instagram stories so that we do keep talking about her. But I love the trolling personally. It's just, we're going to keep talking about you, though, when you do said things. So then you probably shouldn't complain about it afterwards.